Hi everyone, welcome to Sweet Delights Cakery. Today in our tutorial we'll be showing you how to make this beautiful poinsettia flower. Also don't forget to check out our three-dimensional lantern cookie tutorial that we'll be using this flower to decorate with. So enjoy the tutorial and happy holidays. Okay, so I'm ready to make the poinsettias and I have here some, actually this is fondant with a little bit of tylose in it. We are not making like really thin petaled flowers, so it's okay to use this. And I have here, I'll put a link to where I got these from, and I have, this is what I'm going to use as the leaf, and these are going to be the petals that I'm going to be using. I have a veiner here as well, and I'll also put the link to that. You know, you don't have to buy a poinsettia veiner, you can just use just a generic veiner as well. So I'm ready to make my cutouts. I have some of my petals already drying here. You want to get, now since this is fondant and I have colored it in red, it's a little bit on the sticky side, so you can dust your surface if it gets too sticky, and then you want to roll this out fairly thin. You can see it's sticking a little bit, so dust it as you go. I'm just going to turn it this way. Okay, so you want to cut out 5 of the smaller size and 5 of the larger size petals, and I'm just going to cut out 1 of each just to show you how this is being done. So make your cutouts. Okay. And then you want to take your veiner and make sure that it's dusted as well, so nothing is going to get stick to it. And the larger petal can go into the large veiner, and the small one can go into the small one right here. And then you can simply read it by pressing on it. Okay, so this one is hiding in here. So have these on some type of a flower forming tray, and I have placed this diagonally on here, and let these dry. And next we're going to be making the leaves for the poinsettia. Okay, so I have a little bit of green here that I'm going to roll out to make the leaves. Okay, it's always good to have odd numbers when you're doing leaves, but I'm gonna make 1 extra just in case I have a breakage. So I'm gonna cut 4 of these leaves, and I'm using the same veiner. It's easier that way. Just use the larger side, vein it, and you can place these also, try to find some room here and put it in an angle. Time to move this over so I have some more room. and just do the remaining leaves. Next, we're going to make the center of the poinsettia, and that's going to be done with some white fondant. Again, I have added tylose to it. Okay, so I have here some 26 gauge wire, and I'm going to cut this into thirds, just approximately. Okay, and then you're going to take a little ball from here, and that's what we're going to be using for the centers. So make sure that all your balls are the same size. Okay, and then you're going to take some gum glue, and you want to dip your wire into the gum glue and then have these attached like so. Okay, so you want to do that with all of your centers. And please have this dry overnight, and then we're going to be painting these with some gold. So for the centers, I'm using some highlighter gold. So we're going to start off with, I'm going to add some of my highlighter. And a little bit of vodka. You can use some lemon extract if you have that in that handy. You can use that. So I'm just going to mix it up. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to color a little bit of the stem also in gold, because it's going to show through. Okay, now sometimes you might have to go back and do a second coat on it. It all depends as to how thick your mixture is. So let this dry, and then if you feel like you want to go back and color it, you can do that as well. So we are ready to apply disco dust to our petals, and I have here that I did just for you to see how it's gonna look like. And the color I'm using is American Red Disco Dust, and I'll have the link available to you. Now we're doing 5 and 5 petals, and I wouldn't suggest you do, it's actually your personal preference, but I prefer not to do all the petals, so I'm just going to do kind of petals in between with the dust. So I'm just going to use 3 of the large and 3 of the small. And since I've already done one here, so I'm just going to take 2 small and work on them first. And you also want some gum glue and a brush. And I'm using a little wax paper here so the disco dust will fall onto this, and I can later collect it and put it back into my container. Okay, so we're going to apply some gum glue onto the petal. Just a light coat. You don't want to put too much because you don't want a lot of disco dust on here. You just want like a very light layer of it. So continue to do that. So just make sure there's no glue on your wax paper, because if there is, then whatever the disco dust that falls onto your paper will get stuck to that. Then you won't be able to save the disco dust. Okay, so you're just going to sprinkle. Very slowly. And that's how it should look like. And put that away. Let's do the next one. And I think this one needs a little bit more of the gum glue, so I'm just going to go back and touch it up. Okay, next I'm going to be doing the same thing with the leaves, and I'm using Hologram Lime disco dust for this. So we're going to start by applying the gum glue. Let's have this open on the side. And the leaves, I'm going to actually color all of them, coat all of them with the disco dust. Okay, so that's how it should look like. It looks really pretty. And you can try to take all the excess off. And you want to do the same thing on all of the leaves. Okay, so I'm ready to put the flower together, and I have here some candy melts. You can use red candy melts. I just didn't have them on hand, so I just used a little bit of powdered dust to color my candy melts. And I also have a flower former here and a piece of parchment. You can use wax paper, anything that you got at home is fine. So you're going to start with putting a little dollop right here in the center, and that's gonna keep the bottom layer of petals together. Okay, so you want to take those large petals that we did and just place them right on the candy melts, and I'm just gonna go every other petal because some of them, you know, I have clear. Okay, and I'm just gonna add a little bit more on the outside here. Let's see, one of these. And you can even put extra petal here if you want, but this is fine as it is. Okay, and now you're just going to add a little bit more on the top. Okay, and then you're going to add your second layer with the smaller petals. Okay, so you want to let this dry a little bit so that, you know, everything stays put, and then we're going to add the centers to this. Okay, so I have my centers over here, and what you want to do is you want to trim them really small. So that's probably like 1/4 inches or even a little bit more, not more than 1/4 inches, I would say. So just trim them all off. And you might need to have a pair of tweezers close by too to attach these. Now you can have these centers without the wires on your flower. I just like the fact that, you know, it gives that illusion, that height to the flower, so I kind of like to have the wire attached. Okay, so let's get our flower back here, and I got my tweezers and my chocolate. Okay, so you want to add a little bit of chocolate to the center. Make sure you're not going to put too much because you don't want to see that chocolate there. Okay, so that looks good to start off with, and I'm gonna start with my center right there. And just keep attaching them. This is why you need those tweezers, easy to work with. And I have 7 here for the center, but I think I'm gonna add maybe a couple more. Let's try to add 1 more and see how it looks on the side here. And I think I'll put my last one also in there. Okay, and that looks good. I'm just gonna spread them out a little bit. There we go. So that's our poinsettia right here.